and welcome to spooky season of Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And today, Dave and I will be playing the game...
Pralaya.
Yes, which is new to both of us. So, Dave and I had gone... Well, I dragged it along.
we had a good time.
You did have a good time, you did. But we had gone to a anime convention, and in the anime convention, there was a whole room of board games. So
That was a pleasant surprise.
I know. I had been to anime conventions in the past, and I had never seen a board game room. So when I saw that, I was just like, oh, look, Dave. Oh, look, a game for you.
And I think these were all the same. It was the same publisher, the Japanime Games that was there. So
it was all by the same publisher. So that was really cool. And I remember we were looking at it, and I was dressed up as Sailor Mars. Also, maybe I should dress up as Sailor Mars for this.
Yeah.
It would just only make sense. Circle back.
It would.
But... I was dressed up as Sailor Mars, and the seller had said, oh, I have a Sailor Moon game, but he didn't have it in stock.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know.
Did he say the name of it?
No, but he gave us a pamphlet that I'm sure we can find.
Yeah.
It's in my stack of miscellaneous papers on my desk.
We'll circle back to that one.
Yeah, it'll take a second to dig up. But I was really excited about this game because I really like the art. It was very eerie, and I'm happy that you're deciding to put it in our spooky season.
Well, yeah, we weren't even thinking of spooky season games when we found this. We just thought it looked really cool. And then when I was thinking about games I wanted to play during September and October, the artwork kind of stood out to me as I was looking at games on the shelf, where I didn't think of it necessarily as a spooky game, but when you look, there's this evil entity or something on there. I
know. I want to be this girl on the side who's in all black. She has a black veil, and she has a raven. I'll let you check it out here. I'll give you the cover. So this game is a 2 to 5 player game. It plays about 15 to 30 minutes, and then it is ages 10 and up. Here you go. Here's the cover.
Thank you.
And then I will give you the game manual. Did you look at the cards yet? I know you opened it, but
I did.
You did?
I did look at the cards, yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it'll be my
first time. That small stack
then.
is cards that are for more than 2 players. So I organized them all by cards that we'll actually be using in the big stack.
Ooh. Oh, how interesting. A shattered urn. Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Something eerie. Ooh, they have fossils and demon statues. This looks like water. Oh, the lady on the side is the demonic pack.
Yes.
Demonic pack cards adjust the point values of your demon statues. Each demonic pack adds a multiplier of -3 to your total demon statues.
This is the card. Do you remember I was sitting and cracking up as I was reading the rules?
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you laughing at? Because I couldn't wrap my head around the point of that card.
Yeah.
But we'll discover it as we play it, because it's kind of funny the way that it works. It either gives you a lot of negative points or a lot of positive points.
Okay. This is the great statue. Oh. The cards are slippery. Ancient manuscript. Ooh, that's exciting. Huh. This game, I would definitely say, fits the Halloween theme. I think Lupin agrees too.
He does.
So chimes in every time. I know, right? He always puts in his catitude. Yeah, just looking at it, I say it fits spooky season. Also, you could kind of play this on a beach. It has an eerie, haunted beach shipwreck vibe to it.
All my favorite things in one game.
Wasn't there a shipwreck that you wanted to take me to that was haunted?
Yeah, I don't know if it's haunted, but we can pretend. It is. Maybe it is, but it is on the Oregon coast. I think the shipwreck of Peter Iredale is called.
Okay.
And you can actually go. There's remains of a ship. I don't know when it crashed, but we can check that out. Based on what you saw in the cards, though, what would you guess? I always forget to do this. What would you guess the game is about, or what are we trying to do?
I truly do not know. I just see it says vitality. So are you supposed to earn negative points? Are you supposed to have the most negative points?
No, you're supposed to have the most positive points.
Oh, do you draw these at random?
No, you pick them. That's why I was like, why would you ever want the negative card?
Do negatives turn to positive?
They do, because if you get 2
holy?
of them, it turns positive. So you basically take all of your demon statues that you collect that give you points for collecting more of them. And then if you get one single demonic pact, it multiplies that number by -3, so it'll give you a lot of negative points. But then if you get a second demonic pact, it will multiply it by 9 as a positive. And then if you get a third demonic pact, it'll multiply it by -27 as a negative. Because, like the math, 2 negatives makes a positive, and you add another negative and it makes it negative again.
Yeah, so it's just a big math game.
Yeah, but get this, if you get all 4 demonic packs, you take your demonic statues and multiply it by 81.
What?
It sounds so extreme. That's why I was cracking 81. Up, because I could see us fighting for these cards. Like, oh, I'm going to force you to have only 3 demonic packs so that you get negative 27. You multiply your points by negative 27. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to lose the game.
What? Okay, well...
So let me, if you want, I can just read you the backstory, because this is fascinating.
Sure.
Okay. Long ago, there was an island nation in the southern seas that enjoyed a great period of cultural prosperity. Surrounded by natural beauty and gifted with tremendous intellect, the island's residents believed their peaceful way of life would go on for all time. But one morning, a fearsome demon broke free from his ancient prison and began to drag the island into the depths of the sea. With the end growing ever nearer, the king ordered his most loyal retainers to gather as many of the nation's treasures and island's inhabitants as they could and flee to the northern lands.
Huh. That's interesting, because on the back of the box, it has something ever so slightly different.
Really?
Like, it's the same story, but different.
Ooh.
So I'll just read it as well, because it's on the back of the box, so everybody can see it. It says, will destruction fall upon your land? Or can you change the tide of destiny?
Wow.
Long ago, in the southern seas, a prosperous island's people believed their nation would continue to flourish for all time. But without warning, a monstrous demon begins to drag your island into the depths of the ocean. Now, you must rescue as much of the island's culture as you can and escape to the northern lands before it's too late. It's interesting that the two stories are different.
They are. They're kind of the same.
So slightly,
they complement each other.
They do.
They add to the journey.
It's going to be quite the journey.
So I thought, like, when I heard about this game, when the guy was explaining it to us, it fascinated me because it reminds me of another game called Forbidden Island, where your island's sinking and you're trying to collect treasures and escape the island before it sinks. But that one's a cooperative game where you're all playing together to try to beat the game. And I'm not the biggest cooperative game fan. I'm more of a competitive person. So the fact that this was a competitive game with a similar idea of an island sinking and you're kind of racing against that sounded really cool.
That is really cool. And I cheated on the drink. I cheated with the drink.
You cheated on the drink.
I cheated on the drink. I cheated making the drink because I had already seen the cover in the box and everything.
Yeah.
And it had all these blue and kind of eerie tones to it. And I know usually I just get the name, but since I saw it, I could make the drink pair even better.
All right.
And are you ready? So, have you ever heard of butterfly pea lake flowers? Butterfly pea tea?
No.
Okay. Well, David, it is blue. It's a bright ocean blue, right? And I have this limon that you squeeze into it and it changes the color. So, it's an experience.
Wow.
That we'll be going through.
I can't wait to share that experience.
Yes. And it has a sweet taste, so you don't have to... Well, you like tea anyways, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, here you go.
Thank
and
you.
then it changes color when you add the lemon.
What? Sounds like you put a lot of thought into this.
Uh-huh. No, I also had some, so there's that too. Yeah.
Were these just random ingredients laying around, or did you have to go hunt some of this stuff down?
These were random ingredients laying around, but when I saw the cover of the board game, I knew that this was the drink that I was going to pick.
Oh, I can't wait.
I know. If I just got the name, though, I would have no idea. I wouldn't know.
I don't know what I'm more excited for, the drink or the game.
Yes.
Maybe this whole evening I'm excited for.
Well, I'm excited for our first playthroughs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
Shall be spectacular. So let's shuffle the cards and get going.
Let's do it, shall we?
Yes. Ooh, so we are back from playing about five or six rounds. And
7 rounds.
Oh, 7 rounds.
Yeah.
7 rounds, with our last round taking about 3 minutes, did you say? Or 5 minutes, 3 seconds or something?
Well, it rounded up to 4, so it must have been at least 3.5 minutes, but still very quick.
Yeah, that last round was very quick. But in general, this game was very enticing, like entrancing, I would say, because it had a light and dark to it. So I know you and I were joking around saying, why are there a bunch of demonic statues on this island?
Just laying around the island, but we need to find them all before we...
Yeah, you need to find them all. And then once you find them, you hope to get the
demonic pact.
Right.
But the right number.
But you need 2. You need an even number of them so that you have an even number. If you have an odd number, you're negative.
Yeah.
And you would always take them. I had a whole pile. I had 8 of the statues. And then you took 2 for no reason. You had 0 of the statues, but you took 2 regardless.
Because that would have given you so many points.
It would have given me 72 points.
Yeah, that's why I took them. Oh. Can you blame me?
Yes.
I was trying to win. I was trying to win the game.
So that was interesting. I thought it really worked for spooky season themed.
It did.
I know it says 10 and up, and I would say it's actually a pretty simple game. I know we were going.
Let's talk about the rules.
Let's talk about the rules. So through all of our board games that we played together, through my board game journey, I have always handed you the rule book, David, and you have always read through them and explained it to me what I would consider flawlessly. I usually catch on first round or 2, and I get it. I understand what you're giving me, but then this game came along.
What was it about this game that broke my brain?
Yeah, what was it about this game that broke your brain? Because the first, 5 rounds, the first, 4 rounds, 5 or 4 rounds, you had something different. It was like starter player, 1, 1, 2, 2. And then I was just like, wait. And then I read it, and I was like, hold up, this game is so simple.
You read it in 3 minutes. I read this rulebook several times. Oh. The first time I read it, it was about halfway through, and I was thinking, I don't really fully understand what's going on, what it's referring to with needing to get off the island, because it doesn't tell you how to get off the island, and then it explains it later on. Mm-hmm. But the math was a little bit weird in this game, with those multiplier cards, the positive, negative. Maybe I'm just not mathematically inclined.
No, you know, when I looked at the rule book, so you and I joke around a lot about how I just learn differently and I math differently. Like, we literally were in the car coming back from getting food, and we were just talking about how I put things into weird piles where you're like, I just put them into piles of 5 and counted 5, 10, 15, 20. While I'm like, okay, this is a tile of 5 and this is 3 and this, and you're
7.
Like, what?
Things that people don't normally pair together.
So the game really could have odd rules, and maybe I just understood them because they clicked with me.
Yeah. I thought you said something really interesting, though, when I failed, obviously, to explain the rules to you. You opened up the rule book, and you were telling me this is how I would have explained it. And you pointed first to the whole layout of the board and how it explains what each card is, but it doesn't tell you how to play the game. And you were saying I would have looked at the cards first and then tied it back to what each of those numbers means. The vitality, the points, and so forth.
Yeah, because you were telling me when I had done that, you had stated, oh, you never do that. You always want to know just the goal of the game.
Yeah.
But with how the rules are set up here, it's hard to know the goal of the game because you don't know what vitality is. You don't know what the relic is. You don't know any of this. So you need to know what those cards are to understand how to play them. And then when it said to get off the island, if there's one card left, you need to know that too.
I almost think, as I'm learning your preferred play style, I think the first time we play a game, I just need to have you help me set up the game so you have a chance to physically touch all of the components and look at them and explore it yourself before I explain anything about the game, because you'll probably start to piece it together in your head. And then once we've set it up, then I can maybe walk through everything on the table and then get into how to play your turn. I think that might click the best for you.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try different things.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the best way.
Yeah. I just love how some of the relic cards were water cards and it was filling up your island.
It got stressful.
Yeah. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Especially because you kind of could mess over the opposing player if there was the demonic pack.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of the statues like I did. And then, because everybody has to grab at least one relic per their turn unless they get the final boat to get off the island, because now you can't grab any more relics if you're off the island.
Yeah.
So there was one turn where I got stuck with having to grab that, so I had negative points.
When you're forced to grab it, because you can decide at the end of your turn to get off the island by purchasing one of those boats or take it another turn. But if you're stuck, like you said, with only one card to choose from, you have to take at least one card. If it's a card that hurts you, then you're out of luck.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting too, one of the boats was just the value of what was in your hand for coins.
Yeah.
So you could purchase it for 1 coin.
True.
If you were the first person to purchase that.
Oh.
But then if you were waiting until the end because you wanted to get more points.
Yeah.
And let's say you had lots of coins, because I had about 4 coins. So I had 2 3s, a 6, and a 1. And that's 10 coins that I had to give up to get that first ship, because it was going to be my last turn.
The whole coin thing and then the boats was really interesting. Because, like you said, you could technically buy that first boat because it just has an X on it. So it's whatever cards in your hand that are gold or coins you have to use. But I thought about that through one of our later plays and thought that was like a really clever thing to put in there, because I could be getting other cards, but then if you take that other one, then the next one costs me 7. So I have to have 7 coins worth of currency in my hand. And I may not have had that. I might have been collecting other cards, and now I have to go searching frantically for these coins.
While the island's filling up.
Yeah, the islands, because the water cards never get replaced. And I thought it was also cool that once you get off the island, you don't take any more cards, but you pick one of the cards and discard it. So you can just completely ruin the other person in terms of like, oh, this card came out and I'm going to discard this
I know.
So the timing is really... I thought really interesting in this game. What did you think about the timing aspect?
I thought the timing was very interesting too. And I also thought that this game is deeper than, even though we played 7, I do feel that there is some strategies within this game. Because let's say, and this is just a hypothetical, I mean, we could try it, but now you'll know what I'm doing. But if I have less than 7 coins and maybe there's 5 cards that aren't taken up by water yet, and I buy the ship with the 5 coins because I know I can't afford the 7 and I know it's coming down to the wire, and then I start discarding cards that I would know would be helpful for you, which would then force you to take cards that wouldn't be beneficial to you. Because there was that one card, I can't remember the name of it, but it took away the demon statue points, regardless if you had the pack or not. Yeah. It zeroed it out. So let's say you were collecting a bunch of the statues and I forced you to take that card. Now you're at 0. So you kind of could force somebody else to take something. And I think it'd be interesting to play it that way, where one of us, both of us, or whoever it goes, forces the other player to take cards to hopefully either send them in a negative or 0.
Yeah, I think that there are some different play styles in this. Did you feel this game was pretty cutthroat, or was it just pretty much do your own thing and kind of pay attention to what your opponent's doing?
I wouldn't say it was cutthroat. I would say it did give a bit of anxiety. So you kind of chose to pick things quickly, like pick up cards quickly, because you didn't want to be left on the island. Because if you were left on the island, let's say you did have a bunch of statues and then a bunch of the packs and a bunch of other cards. But regardless of what you had, if you were left on the island, you would have had 0. Because your ship would have went under and all of the items you had would have went under. So I think that it's more so just you need to pick your cards. It's kind of like that one game we played with the dice, and it had a timer and scary music.
Oh, Escape the Curse of the Temple.
Yeah, it's like that. A little less stressful.
That game is packed with stress.
Yeah, but that's how this one resembles, but less stress. And you can have more time to think about what card choices you would like to choose.
Yeah, the stress is definitely there in the game as you start to see more and more of those ocean cards come out. And it is a push your luck game in the sense that you just have to decide, am I going to keep going or am I going to get off the island on this round? Yeah. And this is just fun because it's so quick that you can throw down. I mean, obviously we played a game less than 5 minutes. But it also depends on, and I want to talk about a little bit of the luck factor in the game because it depends on how fast those ocean cards came out. Because the first game, and it could have been because I shuffled it poorly, but the board pretty much filled with ocean cards after a couple of rounds.
Yeah, like instantly.
And we both didn't even collect any coins in that game, so we couldn't have gotten off the island. So it was a draw because neither of us got any points. As I was thinking through the game, the only negative with 2 players, there's nothing in there to remove a certain number of those ocean cards because the grid is a 5x3 grid if you play 2 to 3 players, and then it's I think a 5x4 grid once you hop up to 4 to 5 players. So there's more cards out, but also more players to grab cards, so you'll cycle through more of that deck. Yeah. And it makes sense to have all of the ocean cards in a full deck where most of the cards will get used. But in a 2-player game where you're only going to see a certain portion of those, the chance of more of those becoming ocean cards means that the board will fill up faster. You won't have a chance to get things as much. So that was the only negative I could really think of for the game.
Yeah. I also love the art in general. I think the art is absolutely beautiful. And I love the fossil card because I love fossils.
I like the card too because I like any game where there's something in it where you try to get more than the other person. So you just watch how many they have and you're kind of back and forth racing. Or you just do something different and not care about those. But I always, whenever there's one of those in a game, I always try to get more than other people.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I always fall for the art in games too. So if there's something that I just like, or if there's a cool name of some sort, I always go for it.
Like
even
in Century Golem Edition?
Yeah.
You just went for the ones that were cute.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, this one's cute. Even though it's 5 points, it's so cute. So overall, I liked this game. I really did.
Yeah, what would you rate it if you were...
I would say after 7 plays, it would be a 4.5. It wouldn't be a full 5 for me because I still feel that there are aspects of the game that we have unexplored.
Sure.
And with a little bit more exploration, I think we can get
exploration.
There. Yeah.
I think I would give it a 4 out of 5 just for a little bit of maybe the scalability aspect. And there might be a house rule out there for taking out a certain number of ocean cards. But it could just be, again, bad shuffling. Maybe with some more plays, that aspect might become less of a negative. Other than that, I enjoyed it a lot.
All right. And speaking of house rules, for the starting player, I know that I personally like when a game chooses a starting player. Or it says the last person that ate pizza, or the last person that went to Portugal, or whatever it may be.
Lives closest to the water.
Yeah. This one didn't have one, so maybe we can implement 2. And 1 could be whoever swam last, like whoever went swimming last. And then maybe another one could be whoever was on a boat last, because the objective of the game is to get on a boat, leave the island with all of your goods to start anew on another island.
You know, I think for any game that we play, we should just have you create a really cool starting player condition. Because you're so good at that.
I'm okay. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I would keep this game. Even if it, for some reason, didn't go as well as it did, it would be a game that I would want to keep just because we have memories tied to it. It was your first anime convention. Yeah. It was the first one that we had gone to together. And it's kind of like Sagrada, you know, where... I got it for your birthday.
Yeah.
And even though it's a game that we don't play as much as like Azul or one of our previous 10x10 games, it's still a game that I want to keep. So for this game, I like it.
It's true. When we were at the convention and we found that room with board games and we weren't expecting it, I'm not a huge impulse buyer when it comes to games, but it was fun being at a convention and finding a room with this Japan-made game publisher and just trying to find a game that appealed to us cover-wise, artwork and everything that we would just get that day and bring home and give a try. So good
and
memories.
It was this game between another game too. Do you remember? He said it was an escape room-esque game that was replayable. It wasn't a one-time escape room game.
Yes. I don't remember the name. I know what you're talking about. There was that and some haunted house type game too. Yeah. There are a few cool-looking ones.
But we ended up with this one and then Ramen.
Ramen, that's right.
Ramen.
I can't wait
Which
to
we
play
haven't played
one.
yet. Yeah.
I am so excited.
That'll be your first time too, right?
We'll pair it with some ramen.
I can make ramen for us.
That sounds good.
Yes. It'll be your first time? Playing that one?
Yeah,
okay.
I've never played it.
Good. Just making sure. Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you for going to the anime convention with me. Thank you for purchasing the game. And, of course, thank you for playing with me.
Thank you, Julie.
Anytime. And thank you so much for listening to our spooky bonus episode on Dice Jesters. Be sure to join us on Instagram and YouTube under Dice Jesters as well. If you would like to email us with questions or games that you have played that you would like us to hear about, review, and or hear Dave's take on it. Perhaps not my take, because 9 times out of 10, I haven't played it yet. But our email is thedicejesters@gmail.com. We also have a Patreon. There is a free version of the Patreon, so you can join there for free. You can vote on things. If you opt into one of the paid versions, you can see bloopers of videos we made. And, of course...
Julie's bloopers, that's what they are.
Julie's bloopers.
Talking to the cat.
Hey, I have a blooper of you.
I don't know about it.
Maybe. But
my whole life is a blooper.
Until next time, as the last candle flickers out, the echoes of adventure fades into the darkness. The game may be over, but the haunting memories will linger long after.